So people were able to find purpose through this, through finding a church and being inside of the church and this type of thing. And it brought down mental illness, and it increased birth rates. And, it kind of had these wonderful societal effects. And moving towards secularism had kind of these really bad social effects. Why wouldn't you push people towards the Christian portion in order for them to be able to get those really good effects
But the good effects are outweighing the bad effects, in my opinion.
of secularism?
Yes.
Yeah, well, which ones? That's I want to get into this. Like,
The
which effects do
the
you think?
standard of life in America is one example.
The
How
standard of life was high when over 90% of the public identified as being Christians. The standard was extremely high.
right, and they had the choice to choose whatever brand of Christianity they felt was the best for their family.
Yeah, but listen,
That's what secularism did.
but hang on, you're removing cultural stigma from the equation like that didn't exist. There was a massive cultural stigma against secularists all throughout even the early 1900s, but definitely in the 1800s and 1700s there was a stigma against secularists, and there was a stigma against people who weren't part of your denomination of Christianity. But you can't make an argument that the quality of life was somehow significantly lower in the 40s and 50s when almost everybody identified as a Christian and all that stigma was out. The stigma was there against homosexuals. The stigma was there against women's suffrage. The stigma was there against basically all forms of degeneracy possible. The standard of living was skyrocketed. It was high as could be. I mean, people could afford to get a new car every couple of years, trade their old one in. You only needed one working income. I couldn't imagine a better standard of living for people. A house cost what, $15,000? You know what I mean?
Sure, I mean, but we're still talking a secular society. We're not talking even if there's more Christians in that time period, which there obviously were,
like 90%, 95%. Come
but
on,
it's
man.
it's not one. It's not orthodoxy. It's not Catholicism. It's not one brand. These are all people practicing their own way of Christianity.
Yeah, but not really,
Well,
because there's still
a lot of them aren't even like fully going to church every week.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So this kind of falls short too, because while you can say that there's tons of different denominations, wouldn't you say that their grounding ethical set was at least somewhat similar, if not almost all similar?
Right, but that's what I mean by a lot of the fundamentals of Christian ethics can be found in previous like Middle Platonist ethics or some of the Orphic mystery stuff. Like there's a lot of ideas of piety against if some of the Orphics were very much anti degeneracy and pro piety and that mindset of the religious mindset of being a pious person and doing good and having perseverance and being humble.
Yeah, but even if they stole, even if we just assume that Christians stole all that shit and just incorporated it into their religion for funsies, even if we just assume the entire religion was bogus and just borrowed all the best parts from what came before, right? That society was still super healthy. Almost everybody identified as being a Christian. Looks like the stat I have in front of me is 97%, actually 97% in 1950. The social stigmas were through the roof against all forms of degeneracy, including pornography, including all these things. The standard of living was super high. So I don't understand. If that's the society which you end up with, why wouldn't you push people towards that?
Well, I think the idea that you want to push people towards is having a healthy lifestyle in general, however the means is to get there.
Yeah, but why would a person feel the need to have a healthy lifestyle if they had no purpose? That's the problem.
That's just, I mean, that's good. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's more about it's more about like survival at the end of the day. Like the instinct to survive sort of brings people to finding a purpose in general. Don't you think?
Well, no. If that was the case, then why is it that you see the mental health rates and the suicide rates of people who are secularists sky high in comparison to those who follow religion? It sure seems like just their self-preservation.
Do you have that number in front of you right now? No?
No, I can pull it up, but it's an astronomical difference. In fact, the more that you practice your religion, meaning like the more you go to church, the more that you are active in those communities.
Yeah, I wouldn't deny that, actually.
Yeah, the less likely you are to engage in any of those functions. Secularists don't even have that.
That's the same with AA and NA. People go to NA and AA. They follow the 12 steps, and they find your own God. It tells you to do.
Yeah, but
your own God.
Yeah, but AA
it works for people.
Yeah, but AA's founded its kind of ultimate foundation was Christian ethics. I mean, come on.
All right, you're right. That's true.
It was I mean, that's what they
It
were pushing
was.
people
What they were
towards.
doing, that was taking the Christian
Mhm.
nuts and bolts and or no, foundation, and yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm
Well,
just saying
that's
ultimately
what I'm saying. I mean, I hate to say it. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say, like, when I don't when you asked me to do this debate, like, I I would never. I was already saying before, like, people who have a religious worldview, Christian worldview, often are very happy, and it gives people purpose in life. It gives people, when a family member dies, that gives them comfort rather than knowing that they're gone forever. Like, those type of things are necessary for society, and
yeah,
I
but the
think,
key I get that, but I'm saying what we're trying to zero in on here is this key of the reason that you kind of push on Christianity is because you feel that fundamentally it's not true,
well, right,
right? Okay, so I'm accepting that that is true from your perspective, that I'm just kind of hypothetically thinking if it is untrue, if it if there's no truth, real truth merit to it, but the effects of it are far superior than if we rejected it, why shouldn't we still utilize it?
well, if it was the only thing that had those effects, then I would probably be more inclined to agree with you on that, but it's not.
Okay, but
There are other
the
ways of life that can lead to those effects. That's why I said,
which ways absent religion?
well, that's what I'm saying. In the secular society, you're not. It's not just one church. It's, you choose any church you want, or a religion,
Yeah, but that's still you
or
banking
not religion.
on
So those,
religion.
but what I'm saying, my answer to your question is that path is still there. Nobody's saying you can't use religion to have a purpose in life. It's still available to you in a secular
Yeah,
society, which is
but
why
the
the secular
but the
trumps the.
yeah, I get that it's available, but the problem is that if it's true that the results of those who move towards religion, if it's just better for society, then why shouldn't that be something which is promoted? Why isn't that something which should be moved towards rather than the alternative of pushing against it? Almost all atheists are progressives. Almost all of them.
Right.
Why do you think that is? And do you think that the progressive agenda is to get rid of Christianity? Because it sure looks like it is.
No, I don't think that's the agenda.
You don't think so?
I would agree with you that there are a lot of progressives that would like to see Christianity be gone.
Yeah. Well, like most, considering that most are progressives, the progressive agenda, most assuredly, is as anti-Christian as it possibly it can be. I mean, in fact, it's trying to do things which are perverse to the religion, especially by promoting degeneracy, right? So they say that Christians shouldn't even have a say over things like pornography inside of society, things like this, because that's just speech and we can't have decency laws, things like this. These are definitely contrary to Christian values, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, why shouldn't we promote a more normative society based around these ethical systems and around these kinds of worldviews if it seems like it's way more healthy for people to embrace those worldviews, even from your perspective of it not being true?
Well, again, like I said, you and I know I know you don't like this, but it's the options there for anyone to be. You could be a Christian. You could be whatever type of Christian you want to be in a secular society.
As long as you exercise no authority.
Well, as long as and it goes both ways. As long as you're not
Yeah, no, no.
influencing
Secularists can
someone else.
exercise authority and do exercise authority.